He stood at the edge of the rooftop, wind biting his skin, the city lights below blurring through the tears in his eyes. Just a year ago, he was celebrated, admired, envied. Today, he was broken, forgotten, and drowning in silence. Aarav had been, a name people recognized in every corporate circle. A self-made entrepreneur, he built a multi-million-dollar tech company from scratch before turning 30. Magazine covers, keynote speeches, investor deals, he had it all. But what people didn't see was the cost he paid. Sleepless nights, strained relationships, and pressure that never relented. The higher he rose, the more fragile his foundation became. The downfall came quickly. A flawed product release, a lawsuit from a competitor, a few bad financial decisions, and within 6 months, everything collapsed. Investors pulled out, employees resigned, and his reputation crumbled. The same media that once praised him now dissected his failure. His phone stopped ringing. Friends disappeared. And perhaps the most painful blow, his parents, once proud, now quietly disappointed. But that night on the rooftop wasn't his end. As he stared down at the abyss, a voice echoed inside him, not from outside, but from a deeper place he had long ignored. "Is this really how your story ends?" He blinked, stepped back, and collapsed onto the gravel, sobbing, not out of weakness, but release. He wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. The days that followed were grim. He moved out of his apartment, sold off his possessions, and stayed in a tiny rented room barely large enough for a bed and a desk. But for the first time in years, he slowed down. No meetings, no emails, just space. He read again books that inspired him once. He walked for hours. He started journaling, revisiting memories, regrets, and lessons. One day, while sitting at a park bench watching a group of children play, he noticed a boy trying to fly a broken kite. The string kept tangling, the kite dipped over and over. But the boy didn't quit. He untangled the mess each time, fixed the folds, and tried again. After what felt like dozens of failed attempts, the kite finally soared. The boy jumped and laughed, as if he had just conquered the world. Aarav smiled for the first time in weeks. That boy wasn't trying to impress anyone. He wasn't thinking about failure. He just wanted to see his kite fly. Simple, pure determination. That image stayed with Aarav. The next morning, he opened his laptop, not to pitch, not to plan, but to create. He remembered how he once started, not for profit, but for solving problems. His first app helped small shop owners manage inventory, using basic phones. It was never about glamour then, just value. So he began anew, not as a CEO, but as a learner. He took online courses, connected anonymously with developers on forums, and volunteered for tech projects without pay. He listened more than he spoke. 3 months later, he began developing a new platform, one focused on mental wellness for entrepreneurs. Not another feel-good app, but something rooted in his own journey. Tools to track burnout, spaces for real conversations, anonymous peer support. Everything he had once needed but never had. The project started slow. No funding, no buzz. But the few people who used it sent messages like, "This helped me more than therapy." And, "I felt seen for the first time." That was enough. One evening, he got a message from an old college friend, now a writer for a major online magazine. She had heard about his new project and wanted to do a feature on his comeback. Aarav hesitated but agreed. He shared everything, including the rooftop night. The article went viral. Emails poured in. Investors wanted meetings, not to rescue a fallen star, but to fuel a new fire. Aarav didn't jump at the offers. He moved carefully this time. He built a team, not with resumes, but with hearts that resonated with his mission. Designers who'd battled depression. Developers who'd left high-pressure jobs. Together, they didn't build a business. They built a movement. A year later, the app was in 6 languages, used in over 20 countries, and had partnerships with mental health NGOs. Aarav was invited to speak again, but this time he told the story differently. No polished anecdotes or big numbers, just raw truth. People cried. They related. He visited his parents again, not to prove anything, but to reconnect. His mother hugged him longer than ever. His father, usually reserved, simply said, "You found something greater than success. You found yourself." And in the quiet of his room that night, Aarav looked out the window, not down, but at the stars. He thought of the ashes he had once sat in, the hopelessness, the pain. But from that heap of failure he had risen, not the same man, but a better one, stronger, wiser, kinder. The phoenix doesn't rise in spite of the fire. It rises because of it.